Welcome back to another episode of LANCESCURV of LANCESCURV.com. As always, if you're down with this show, you gotta always check in on LANCESCURV.com because that's the main street and the grand central station of all that we do. On these videos, that's what we do. Videos where we write, we draw, we do all kinds of stuff. And I don't want to crap load of other platforms that I utilize. Don't forget that I'm still on Clubhouse. I'll drop the link down there. There are different links of things that you'll experience in our discussions that we won't do here. You know, I'm not going to put all my eggs in one basket, you know, but right now you see what the title is all about. What do men get out of cheating on the good woman at home? I'm not speaking about, and see, some of the fellows going to come, well, what about that woman who be cheating on you? We're not talking about that. I'm going to have to say it again. In the school of SCURV, we go in with surgical precision on every topic. And if I feel like I missed something, I'm going to go back and cover it again. I'm going to go back and keep doing it until we get it right. Rightly so. You and me, girl, go a long way back. Renee Green, I know you're holding down the West Coast. So I don't worry about it because Renee Green's over there. So we know everything is straight over there. We're going to have our other brothers and sisters file on, and they went and took a break. I did a little show for about 32 minutes, 36 minutes, whatever it was. That's the way it's going to be. Rapid fire. Never ending. Listen, I'm going to get up out the middle of this, out my night, wipe the cold out my eye, and go live. I'm going to do it like that. 2, Tracy J. Oh, we're going to talk. We're going to talk. We're going to get down. Cheating within relationships is a complex issue that often stems from a variety of factors, ranging from personal dissatisfaction to underlying relationship dynamics. In this discussion, we'll delve into the excuses men often use to justify their infidelity, as well as explore the legitimate reasons that may lead some men to seek intimacy outside their primary relationship. What is he talking about? Legitimate reasons. Ain't no legitimate reasons to go cheat. Just go ahead and be a man and say you ain't gonna be there no more, so I can take you behind the child support, and I've been married to you over 10 years. You gonna pay some alimony. See that? See, we have what we have on paper, and we know what the real world does. We know that we as human beings, and don't think that what I'm saying is trying to make excuses for anybody or any man, right? Because this topic also goes for the women who are of that cloth, but I'm addressing it for the men and why they do it and what they say is lame excuses and what things may be going on that they need to still take care of if they felt that need to step out. You be the judge and assess and say if it's right or wrong. Because now that we have social media revealing so many things, we have a lot of women out here who are level-headed, who see, oh man, he had to put up with that. I can see why he went out and got a little nookie inside. Because it's, look, I'm talking about some men now, within the context of men who cheat. I'm saying some. For some, it's not really about the actual orifice, the vaginal orifice or somebody's mouth. It can be something deeper. But for the most part, the majority of these men are thrill seekers. They don't give a damn. They're insensitive. They're narcissistic. It's all about them. And it's not really all about how much they can get their penis wet. It's a power trip. It's insecurities. But they're going to work it out in the world. I feel insecure about myself. I got 10 holes in my bucket. And when I try to fill it up, it never fills up. So I'm going to try to fill it up with as much water as I can, even though the thrill that I get from doing what I do doesn't last too long. See, these dudes, I'll just say it up front, I'm not trying to clean it up ahead of time, because even within this topic, I should have made it a week-long series, which I still may have to do, to talk about the specific men who have done that. See, I'm just asking you to open your mind. And again, it's not to justify doing that, because no one should purposely try to break somebody's heart. You know what I mean? Because when that good woman at home discovers this, and you've been doing this, it's like, why would you do this to me when I'm the good woman to you? I'm talking about the good women. Ain't no perfect woman. But we're talking about the good women who try, who don't cheat. And there's some who cheat who got reasons to do so. Let's just go on the woman's side for a second. Now, for the men, ain't no woman really beating you down with fists. That does happen. But you have some women who get beat down, and they're in a relationship, a marriage with a man, and get physically beat down. They never had a career, never had a job, but they depend on that man. They may have an old aging aunt somewhere in Tuscaloosa in a wooden shack who doesn't have good phone service. She ain't calling her. She has nobody. So because she has nobody, she stays a little longer than a sister or brother who may talk to her, who has the resources. You need to get out of there. How? Where am I going to go? You ain't going to take me in. You say for me to go, but yes, we know that he beats me. But I have no choice right now, because he never elevated me. He never helped me to grow, which is your responsibility, ladies and gentlemen, and anybody, unless you have some medical situation. Understood. Let's get back to the men. The weak excuses, the cheap excuses, the damn lies that they say. Oh, it's just physical. It's just physical. You know, some of the men rationalize the infidelity by claiming it's just physical and it's devoid of emotional attachment. It was just like I was scratching my leg. It was like I was just scratching my eye, wiping the stuff out the corner. It just, what you mean? Anytime, even if it's one time, there's a time when whatever deficiencies you have on the inside, whatever voids you have on the inside, they might just start to get filled a little bit. Even though it's not under the context of a committed relationship, you'll start catching feelings, and that will warp your mind to seeing something that isn't, but you see it's there. Oftentimes now, let me just say, you might get into something that's just physical. Remember the song, Fooled Around and Fell in Love? Remember that song from the 70s? Yeah, I fooled around and fell. Well, fool around was, just a decent way, because, fool starts with an F and it's 4 letters. They couldn't say F'd around. They'll do it now. They had the dirty version, they have that version, but we know what that means, because that opens up portals, that creates soul ties, right? But this whole thing, oh, it's just physical. So that means you can just go lay up with anybody? What's lacking in you that you don't have the connection to your woman at home who's treating you good? We're talking about the one who is treating you good. You don't have to be perfect, but they're doing what they're supposed to do. They're faithful, they're studious, they're there for you. Oh yes, we back, Giant Gang. Welcome on in. Welcome on in. We got Tracy J, Renee, and a couple of other people hiding in the bushes that I can see, right? But this whole thing about it's just physical. So that means you are emotionally handicapped. I mean, like, how could you do that? And go home and do it, right? Well, let's move on to the next one. She doesn't understand me. These men use a lack of emotional connection as an excuse to seek understanding and validation from other women. She doesn't understand you. What about you that she don't understand? Then why don't you make her understand? So you don't talk with her? Doesn't she want to understand you? I mean, you bring something home that you bought that you wanted to purchase so bad, and it requires assembly. So don't you want to understand how to put this thing together? Or do you want to avoid the instructions and then you throw it down after a while? Then it really wasn't sincere that you wanted that anyway, because nothing comes easy. You get with the person, you take the time to know them. But since you didn't take the time to really know them, because when you got with the person, that good woman at home, you probably didn't really want to commit to her anyway. She's a placeholder. And I'm going to tell you something. I have a couple of bulleted points that I'm going to read about this. I just want to say it since it came to my mind. See, to the sisters out there who will account a man just on what he says. See, there's situations where you know a man as the outside woman, but you didn't plan on being the outside woman. Like I said, this should be a whole week series. I'm going to be jumping around. Ride with me. You know, I'm like a bucking bronco. Please hold on for this ride. Say you're an acquaintance, a friend that knew this man for a long time, and you have mutual friends, and you actually know that he's going through stuff. And we know that he's committed as far as what's on paper, but human stuff kicks in. Maybe you work on the same job, or you go to the same gym, you give a ride home. Things kick in. You know, we're humans. We act so dignified. It always, no matter how holy or how committed or how horny or how righteous or how unrighteous, when a man and woman gets together, it always ends up, I'm talking about as we free flow. It always ends up with D-I-C-K and P-U-S-S-Y. Or D-I-C-K in mouth or P-U-S-S-Y, whatever y'all do. Front, back, top, bottom, rooted to the tutor. So we act so dignified, but when raw passion and emotion, whether it's framed in griminess, whether it's framed in righteousness, you can be the most righteous person in the world. If you don't flush your toilet, your bathroom's gonna stink. Huh? So ain't none of us above. But then we have the women who, they see the dude that they want. And they know she got a good woman at home. She knows that he has a good woman at home. And they don't care. I'm going to take that man. Because see, he got that nice suit on. He got nice clothes every day. I see him at the job, driving that nice car. I see his Facebook. He live in a nice home. They take care of them children. And you think you're going to get all that when you steal them, right? Because look, we have a lot of men who are dogs out here, but there's an equal number, if not more, kitty cats out here, ready to partake in the dance of lust, right? So for the sisters who are open for that, realize that oftentimes that nice suit that he has and clothes and wardrobe and the jewelry oftentimes might have been purchased by that good woman at home. That nice car that he drives, she might be paying the majority of the car note. That nice house that he lives in, he tells everybody how he pays for the house and stuff, but she had that house 5 years before she knew that Negro. But you believe in the lies. Now, it may not be always where it's that drastic, but these types of men always take the shine that they get from the good, and may I add it in, anchor woman at home, the one who really holds them down, and he goes out to parade and become the fantasy to the unsuspecting woman who wants the man for herself, and she said to herself, I don't care if I have to take another woman's man. I'm going to take him. But really and truly, he ain't all that. Because when you get him without the car, when you get him without the house, without the jewelry, when you get him without the shine, I'm going to tell you some game right here. And I don't talk game because I'm just saying the term. Be careful when you see a man who's shining bright, because a lot of that shine is coming from the good woman at home. And he prostitutes that shine. And this is why he finds a good woman who doesn't want to go out clubbing, who may not want to spend lots of money, who doesn't have to be in the hair salon every weekend. She'll cook good meals. She'll stay at home. She'll go work them 2 jobs. This is somebody who I can get to anchor me while I play around. Don't you know that there's men who go into relationships planning to cheat on you? It didn't just happen. Oh, it's just physical. Oh, my wife doesn't understand me. I'm not appreciated at home. What the heck? Weak excuse. Feeling unappreciated or undervalued by your partner drives some men to seek validation elsewhere. That's what they'll tell you. Because if you can tell them I'm not appreciated at home, that means there's a woman at home. Huh? Some will say it's a thrill. See, infidelity for some men, cheating for some men, is no different than PlayStation to a young teenager. And some of you old folks love PlayStation too, so you already know. That's all it is. Oh no, I'm not saying that's all it is, like we're to minimize it. It's no good. The stakes are high, and they don't realize it. See, as much as you anchor that man down who's a covert cheater to you, and his roots run deep as far as that stability, that gives him power to feel as though he can run wild and play the game on you. Ain't that something? These guys never choose the woman who's hip, who's out there. That woman may not be out there screwing around. Yes, Tracy J. So what upgrade were they coming from, or they thought they got with you, and what were they coming from? They leapfrog. Oh, I know somebody real good who did that. Dumped his wife and got somebody damn near half his age and didn't give a damn. Talk about karma. There's more to the story than meets the eye, but man, cold-blooded. And those who know me may have an idea who that may be. But God, dog, premeditated to the max. But see, each one doesn't know that he's continuing on. See, when he gets you, when he cheated with you, and he gets you, you become 9 times out of 10. Like I said, there could be a real emotional bond, not from the vicious bad cheating. I'm saying it could be two people who have needs and they found each other, and it's legitimate where they're not getting. They didn't know the person switched up on the person is bipolar. I don't know, but there are some reasons. We'll get into that. But I do not justify the general when we say, oh, he's a cheater. I'm not justifying that at all. But we're talking life. But when he gets the new supply, see, we say supply when we speak about narcissists, because most guys who go out there and cheat, they're narcissists. So start Googling and going on YouTube and listening to any one of these narcissist videos. They tell it like it is. You'll be surprised who you have in your life. Even if it's not your love interest or your husband or your boyfriend, it might be your brother. Might be somebody in your family. Women can be narcissists too. They do it better though. They slicker with it. Men are more obvious. But I'm not appreciated at home, or it's a thrill. It's just like it's a game, a cold-hearted game. Well, why can't you thrill at home? Don't your wife got booty cheeks? Play with them. But then there's situations where some men, we're going to get to that point. Talking about their wife, she's too controlling. And he knows she ain't. But using perceived control or dominance issues within a relationship as justification for seeking freedom elsewhere, that's not cool. Like a lot of times, unless you hear a voicemail, like she's cussing him out and degraded him, and you played it and she heard it, and you know this, you really don't know how he's demonizing his wife to have further entry and justification for you to part your thighs. Like the E-Pass or the Easy Pass or the Sun Pass, when you go through the toll booth and you paid it ahead of time and you have that module on your windshield, and as soon as you get near it, legs open. As soon as you get near it, mouth open. Well, he said she's too controlling and he's not appreciated and he's not understood. And remember what we said, right? The other day on that show, the cage bird syndrome, how they know how to tap into the loving, caring, nurturing side of you. That is why many men don't know this. But when you get around a nurse, see, for them to be a nurse, they've got to have, I'm not going to say a soft side, but they have a loving side that doesn't want to see you in pain. They got into that to help. It's not work for them. Now, you got some evil ass nurses now, don't get me wrong. But you can find a nurse that if you know how to tap into her the right way and appeal to her the right way, you can come up with these things. Yes. And another, I see, I'm spilling some stuff that's going to go over people's heads. How these men seek out these types of women and lie to them. And sometimes a cheating man doesn't have to lie because that other woman is using you too. 9 times out of 10, you're going to realize it. Don't you? When your ass get old and broke down. Some men get broke down at different ages. Some are broke down at 45. Some are broke down at 60. Some are broke down at 70. And all them women you cheated with. Now your wife done left you. You by yourself. And all them women you cheat with, and you still got their phone number. Hey, girl. Oh, hi. How you doing? I haven't seen you. Oh, Miss D Nice. How are you? I'm just seeing you. I'm kind of zoned out, looking all everywhere else but the screen. How you doing, baby? You been okay? It's been like, what, about 15 years? I know you a bad boy. You know, I ain't mad at you. The time me and you was kind of doing our thing, right? I found out there's another lady in the apartment complex you was hitting up, but I ain't mad at you. We laughed about it. And we both talked about how good you are. Oh, really? You know I still got it, baby. Oh, you do? Really? Yeah, you know, but I had 2 strokes in the last 3 years, you know, and I lost the control on my left side, you know, and I worked and everything. I get a little retirement check, but that and Social Security ain't really hitting, you know what I mean? Oh, so this phone call is not really for me, is it? Yeah, you know how we used to get down and I was thinking about the good times, and yeah, you were thinking about the good times of the other girl in the apartment complex too. See what it is? Nigga, you calling me because you broke down. You can't get hard no more, evidently, if half your body don't work. And don't expect me to take care of your broke behind, because see, I'm a lot younger than you. And you thought you was going to get a nurse. Clip. And yes, Tracy J. One night of pleasure can produce a lifetime of pain. And Miss D Nice said exactly, Tracy J. They want somebody younger to control them, especially if they got money. They seek women who are needy and low self-esteem, or gold diggers who are about that life. Now, see, you're right, Miss D Nice. The only thing I'll add on to that, the gold diggers, if they're strictly gold diggers, you ain't gonna control them that good. They're gonna dig the gold out. When the gold is gone, they're gone. They'll be gone. But the needy ones and the low self-esteem ones, they're gonna be there. You know, they're gonna be there. They're gonna be there. Because see, the ones who have low self-esteem, right? And there's different types of low self-esteem. So I'm not gonna generalize it, right? But many have a need to be controlled. And these men now, I'm not saying they're smart. They've gotten more vicious in their approach to finding these women. And they just don't cheat with one woman. They may be physically getting it on with this woman for a time. But the serial cheater always has a roster of women that have different orbits in his. Now, this is a man still with the wife. Wife don't know what's going on. She might even have a lower sex drive than him. But sex drive has nothing to do with it. Because just like the cluster of women who are in the same college dorm room and area, after a time, their periods synchronize because they're around them. So when a man gets with a woman And he may have a little more demand, and she's willing to accommodate him. And see, I'm not really into it that much, but after a while, she's gonna pick up, and maybe he'll calm down a little bit. But you got to be at it. You got to be at it. Come on, y'all. It happens even in relationships that are not. I won't say the word. You ever sit at the red light in your, and if you don't drive, you're sitting in a cab. People are crossing the street in a big city. I'm not saying a hick town. And you see two lesbians walking across the street. And then two lesbians, I'm talking about old lesbians, some old 79-year-old type, whatever. And then we've been together for 50 years. God, dog, don't they look dry? Don't they look like they've been dehydrated? But you know what? They start to look the same. One can be chubby and 5'2", and the other one could be 6'1", tall and skinny. But there's something about them that start to look the same. Birds of a feather flock together, and birds of a feather start to look like each other. So there's no excuse. When you get with somebody, now if they're not willing to go through therapy to correct, maybe they have an issue with molestation, and you're a loving man, you say, okay, I'll work with you. But then when they outright refuse, okay, I'm going to say something for the decent men who have been forced through the hunger of the touch. They didn't aggressively go out there and look to do anything, but I'm going to say it like this. What is cheating? What is cheating? Well, cheating when a man go out there and he got a good woman at home and he does this and he could do this at home. What happens if he can't do it at home? Not for medical reasons, right? What if she's refusing him, not just sex, but everything around it? Don't feed me no gourmet meal on a dirty hubcap. Don't do that. Dress it up a little bit. I'm not talking about lingerie. I'm talking about it's not just about the sex that we need as men. Now, I'm speaking as a man. Don't include me in all this other stuff. I'm telling you, me. It's more than sex. It's being respected. You don't have to treat me like a god, like every utterance out of my mouth. You have an opinion too, and I'm open for your opinion, just like you should be open for mine. But if you keep shooting me down, and I'm giving you everything, I'm giving you my money, I'm giving you my time, I'm keeping myself on an imaginary leash, which doesn't feel like a leash if I'm getting my meals at home. If you are cheating me out of all of these things that I need, now let's flip to those men. And one of these men who is not a serial cheater, a narcissistic type, we got to go deep. Years he goes by in this treatment at home, but the well is dry. You mean he's not going to respond to somebody who, that person, look, you heard the term, right? See, this banner was created and I made the worldly versions of the young girls at the club. And, you know, this is what women who are at home who may have put on a few pounds and they may be a little older and they think, oh, he's out there cheating. You know, what's the first thing? One of the first things. Who is it when you discover? And you really want to know, even though you may not ask them, what does she look like? What does she look like? Well, come on in, Landon. You getting into the meat of it right now. What does she look like? And what did you do with her? Did you? And you know, that's harsh. Your husband is going down, and I'll say it this way to keep it decent because we ain't trying to get in trouble. He's at the well, drinking the juices, swallowing the juices. That is intimate. In the calm before the storm, she might be quiet for a while with her pain. And she could be the kind of person who wants to self-medicate and hurt herself, or she might be the kind of person who wants to lash out. And whatever kind of person you think she is, she may be the other type. She might be coming at you with a knife, and justifiably so. Justifiably so. Riri, yes. Something went out to the universe, and Riri said, let me check. Oh, yeah, there's the show on. That's that good connection because we got the superstars up in here. See, so I'm going all over the place because different situations require different understanding. Some say, I fell out of love. They claim a lack of romantic feelings toward the wife or the girlfriend or the woman at home, and there's a reason to seek love and affection elsewhere. You can't just believe that unless you know that. I know a dude who, oh, and going back to the other point before I tell that story, don't you know that the woman that man cheats with, like when it's a real situation, not the superficial cheater who is looking for the perfect body and looking for the next victim who's younger, who is in shape and pretty. No, not them types. But the needy men who end up seeking to eat their meal elsewhere, 9 times out of 10, that woman doesn't look as good as the woman at home. And that's what baffles that woman at home. Come on now. You see somebody else's situation and you got a girlfriend or you got a friend or a friend of a friend, and you find out and you say, you know that Negro was out there messing around with that girl and she bad bodied and she just, I don't know what he saw in her. And look how she looked at home. These are for the dudes that end up falling into something because they ain't fit at home. And it's not just sex. It's always something else. For the good men who end up appearing to look bad. I fell out of love. How you fall out of love? That lovey-dovey stage oftentimes does not last. The relationship has got to be based on certain foundations and certain tenets, certain commitments, certain principles. You drive that car off at a lot brand new. Brand new. You're not going to like it because some tree sap got on the finish and faded it out? Or you driving behind some truck that lifted up stones and put some things in your windshield? Or somebody parked too close after you got out at Walmart and you came back and they were close and they had to open up the door and they put a dent in the side of your door? So you're not going to love that car no more? We all got a shelf life. That woman may try to stay in shape for you and for herself, but hormones and age and gravity takes its place. There are some who have a genetic predisposition to looking good and keeping it that way. You look at the bloodline. Okay, if you so hung up on that, look at the bloodline. Go see what the mama look like. The mama might look good, but the grandmama might not be. The grandmama's genes might jump into the one you with. But it shouldn't be that bad. It shouldn't be about that, because we all fall victim to time, gravity, hormonal changes. And you as the cheater, I'm not going to say the bad cheater like there's a good cheater. We got the bad cheaters. We got the cheaters who we can kind of understand why they may have done it, but we say, you didn't have to go about it that way, brother. But I'm talking about the dude who was living in a house. And you know, some subdivisions, the houses are close together. Like in New York City, where the house I grew up in, about 8 feet over, there's the house. Lady next door, when she passed gas, it stinks up my house if the windows were open in the summertime. Like, who blew that fart? Anybody in here? Oh, dang, I'm close that window on that side of the house. One of them oil-based farts. Just hang there and don't go nowhere. You blow the fan, you wave it. The water-based ones you can get, but them oily, heavy oil-eating people, it stays right there. You leave the house and come back 8 hours later, still there waiting for you. That's that kind of lady that was next door. This dude was basically battered by his wife. Soft-spoken dude, a meek dude, a good man, a good provider. Let her make all the decisions. But she had that kind of dominant attitude, right? There was no balance in that relationship. The lady next door was 450 pounds. The lady next door was collecting checks. I ain't mad at you if you have something physical going on a medical condition, and you're getting checks. I just had to say, and I'm illustrating a picture here. Between that lady's thighs, now how do I know? I don't know nothing about that, right? But we knew because she'd walk outside just black from rubbing. It happens. Ain't no, most people from the thighs rubbing, even if you skinny, sometimes a little dark down there, a little friction. Balls rubbing for men, right? You're not perfect. But she looked like, sorry to say it, I got to tell you because you got to know. She looked like Jabba the Hut. Come on now. Remember Star Wars, Jabba the Hut? Jabba. Go ahead and Google it if you don't know. Jabba the Hut. Her face. Nice lady, though. Very sweet lady. And she had a nice voice, too. But she had to hear this man get this treatment. But nobody believed him in his personal life because that wife of his just acted so pristine at all of the social gatherings. You see what I mean? That's right, Miss D Nice. You're so right. We all got an expiration date. Some of us were born with good genes and age gracefully. You have more options when you're physically, emotionally, and financially stable and easy on the eyes. And to be honest, even if a person is not a model who's going to end up on the cover of a fashion magazine, there's a lot you can do. And even if the genes are working against you in every conceivable way, your spirit, if it's beautiful and you are genuine and you are truly loving, that makes you the most beautiful thing for a man who sees the qualities that you have on the inside. And if I was single, I'll take the one who got the bad genes where, you know, the belly and this and that and whatever. But if you got a beautiful spirit, you my woman. And I'm going to love you. And I'm going to stay with you. And I'm going to hold your hand and walk down the street and kiss upon you. We paying for the stuff at the department store and people in the line looking superficial. What are you doing with her? This is my woman. And if you get sicker in a wheelchair and paralyzed and drooling, spit, I'm going to still kiss you. I'm going to wipe your backside. I'm going to still taste you up at night. Because when you have that good spirit and you treat a man well, I don't give a damn how good you look. Because me personally, I've been around some drop-dead gorgeous women who are rotten, who are damn near evil. Some just didn't know how to treat a man, and that's okay because you're learning. But who just, you don't see their looks anymore. But it takes for a man to go through that to understand the difference. So for all of you ladies out there who see the Photoshop filtered Instagram, this and, oh, these guys are going to run for that. I understand they caught up and they go run. They're not looking at the inside. And it sounds corny. But I'm going to tell you something. When you are with that drop-dead gorgeous, beautiful woman who's treating you like sugar honey iced tea, it's the worst feeling in the world. She don't respect you. She embarrasses you in public. She talks down to you. You're dying inside. It's an emotional terminal illness. This guy ended up taking out his garbage as usual, doing all the chores around the house. Gave her money, the wife, and she's always taking the night. He drove the whack car. She drove the nice car. He did everything for her. He loved her. He loved her. But this went on for years. He found out that there was a possibility that she was doing some things. He still stayed faithful. But one day, he took out the garbage, and the big lady, I almost said her name, the big lady next door was out there and just greeted him. She knows the inner workings of his household. She can't help but hear it. Those houses up north that are made out of wood, shoot, might as well not have anything on there at all. And so she treated him kind, and she wasn't trying to come on to him. She wasn't trying to, but he enjoyed her conversation and how she respected him and how she talked to him. Well, let's go to the videotape. Let's fast forward a couple months. You couldn't keep that man from going over there. Homeboy was up there giving that love to Jabba the Hut. And she was so happy. She didn't try to take that woman's husband. She had her needs. And it wasn't just like, come over here and sex me. Now we can say that he should have left and he should have this, and maybe he was tied up with so many responsibilities that where was he going to go? And he wasn't a spring chicken, but he wasn't old. See, so there's situations out here. I'm not trying to justify this dude here on the banner. This old usher looking dude on the banner. You don't have to call. Kind of, sort of, a little bit of resemblance, right? But there are some situations out here. And he was so backed up. Now, how I know all this? Because I know him personally. I know him personally. That man would go over there and he would buy her stuff and do stuff he was still doing for home. But he treated her like the queen that she treated him to be. Like that she is, and treated him as she is, as she was, because she passed away. But he was over there, and there wasn't, let's just put it this way, you know, we do things. We get desires. It's not just some old straight up and down missionary stuff. But I will tell you this from what he shared with me. And I was like, man, I don't want to hear, this is what you do. I'm not putting you down. I understand this situation, but why did you have to tell me that your tongue regularly enters every single orifice of her body? I'm like, oh, not that that's bad. That's a good thing. But he was doing this with her, and I was like, oh man, I still can't get, see, he was coming out of the pain, and you know what I mean? Because you see, didn't Eddie Murphy say this on Eddie Murphy Raw, the stand-up stage comedy act in the mid-'80s? I think it was 85 or something like that. That you could be so hungry for crackers that every no-name brand cracker tastes like a Ritz cracker. But when you get the Ritz crackers, you don't want that one, right? When we got money, we get that Tropicana brand of orange juice. But when we broke, we get that no-name brand. And it don't taste the same, but it will do because we broke and we need it. That's just the way it is. Homeboy was emotionally broke, made money, did good, but she took time and stroked his head, told him everything was going to be all right. You know, this is after what they did physically, but when you physically feel good and then now you get into the reassurance and stuff, let me tell you something. And this is way off topic. This is way off topic. Beautiful thing. Oh, let me just put here what Tracy J said, because you know I'm doing things a little on an entertainment level. Ladies, if you are not beautiful by society standards, leverage everything else. Good attitude, peaceful spirit, cooperation, cooking, cleaning, business sense. Yes. 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 Tracy J, if I had a prize to give you, I'd send it to you right now. Bing! Yes. And that's the only way that you're supposed to go. No other way. So when you do have the standard thing of the world, but you must, it's got to be that. And men can't let that sway them. Even if she has the physical looks and all that stuff that the world, the magazine covers and the hot thing right now, look for those things on the inside. Because if you don't get those things on the inside, those elements, those characteristics, right? It's an empty shell. It's an empty shell. Oh, there's nothing like a reassuring woman. We go out here and we catch hell. Yes, our sisters do too. But as a black man on sight, we're a threat. See, sisters, they don't see you the way that they see us. See, if anything, the system or the supervisors or administrators when you're on these jobs, they may not think you because you're black. But if you walk away and they see that backside jiggling a certain way, they may want to sample it. So they ain't going to come at you a certain way all the time. Now, when they see that you love your man who is black, you come to the Christmas party and you're looking like at your man like you respect him and you love him. And then a lot of time they don't like that because they forged a business relationship with you on a job, but they're thinking that they have a shot at you and they see you really with somebody else. not just on a superficial level, right? Here's another one that the cheating men do, the real ones, the serial cheaters. Everyone does it, right? Succumbing to societal pressure or peer influence, normalizing infidelity as a common occurrence. So wait now. If I'm in a bad hood where it's drug infested, I'm going to start smoking crack because most of the people there do it? You got to have a mind of your own. But this is what tells you, ladies, this is not to justify a cheat, man. We're talking about different aspects of it, but this is what I'm sharing this with you so you can see how some men think that would be potentially bad for you. If they talk you watching TV together or watching a movie together, and he says something like, oh, everybody does, it's not that bad. Well, does this apply to you? It must apply to you because you're saying it out your mouth. Because see, as a married man, you're going to have women hitting on you. As a matter of fact, not any of the decent individuals here or those who are listening, right? But that's a turn on for a lot of women out there. If they can get the attention of this good-looking man who has it going on, or even if they're not good-looking, they're making money and they're a boss. They command power. And see, this is what a lot of the guys who are not going to be on the cover of the fashion magazine or the model, whatever, they know this. That little stubby bulldog looking man who you look at him and say, well, you know, he has nice cologne and a nice suit, but God, dog, only a mama can love that face, looking like Quasimodo. He knows. And lots of times, whether he's single or not, the power is a turn on for so many women. And it doesn't have to be power where you're a millionaire. It might be where you get so much respect in the neighborhood that you live in, a community that you live in. That could be some type of acknowledgement. There is a type of woman out there that will be turned on by that. That's just the way it is. So fellas, it's not just really what you have hanging down between your legs. Because you might have nothing but lint in your pocket, and it may not be all about money. But there's got to be a balance of some type of control and power, not controlling people, but control over yourself and have to have admirable traits as a man. See, the serial cheater spends so much time cheating, he usually doesn't build these things up within himself as a man because he's too busy chasing tail. He looks like this because he's getting the shine from the good woman at home because he's getting his meals. He's well rested. His clothes ain't wrinkly because he ain't gonna iron nothing. He ain't gonna cook nothing. And he ain't gonna get to sleep on time. See, the man at home who has that good wife, the way he shines attracts women across the board, which you got to decide. Figure out if he has anybody, if you're an eligible, decent woman. And if he doesn't, make sure the shine that he has is not something that he's using from a woman at home or several women in his life that he is using and sucking from. And he might do the good sucking on you to woo you over. Is that all you getting? Anybody can do that. Oh man, it's crazy. I've known a lot of crazy people. I know this lady up in the Bronx. I even don't even remember how I knew her. I ended up over her place. It wasn't nothing romantic or nothing like that. I ended up dropping off somebody, I think in the Bronx, late one night, and they were like, oh, they have a little get together up there. Come on up and meet my friends. And it was one of them straight hood apartments. It was winter time. It was hot. Cause see, in the hood, up north, come on, y'all. But it's one of those, public subsidized, kind of apartments. When they put the heat on, shoot, you can't stop it. You got to open the windows in 15-degree weather to be able to control the heat. Let some of this heat up out of this daggone place. So when we got up there was music blasting, because in those, it's concrete. Them walls are concrete. You open the door, this loud noise, but you can hear light thumping when you got to the door. So you got inside, and all these women sitting around. I'm like, The spirit hit me like, these women are looking different. It was all lesbians. And the lady who owned the apartment, who had her lesbian friends over, she was cool. Hey man, how you? Oh, you fine. You gonna make me straight. You gonna this brother, he gonna turn me straight. Look at his muscles. God, you fine. I'm still a woman now. I'm joking, right? I joke back with her. Some people you meet, you can just joke right on back with them just as natural. I said, I'm glad you spotted that, because if they leave me in a room with you alone, you know, you might go the other way, but you could look in yourself. Somebody gonna be mad at me because you gonna be straight after that. And we would joke, give me a high five. We hung out there for a while, but she was trying to get me to drink. And I'm like, no, I don't drink. I'll sip a little wine every now and then, maybe twice a year, some Fuki plum, good for the blood. We were talking, and then she was getting more and more drunk, and they were talking about how they, achieve their orgasms by themselves. It bugged me out. Just like a little commercial break joke. She was like, yeah, when I ain't got nobody, let me show you something. Let me show you something. See, when I buy my dog food, I get him that brand right there. It's the generic brand. It all got white labels. But then there's a certain flavor he like of Alpo. I'm like, where's she going with this? She's talking about masturbation. Is she talking about the dog? She said, he loved that Alpo. You know what I do? Use your imagination. I smears it on me just a little bit. Sit on the toilet bowl, sit back. Woo, he take care of the rest. Oh my God, too much information. I was like, listen, I enjoyed myself here. I have to go. It's going to be coming down with more of a blizzard, and I don't want to be on a slippery road late. But you got to come back. Come back and hang sometime. But one day I was waiting for somebody. It was maybe a year and a half later. I had a number. She was cool. She'd ask me things about where I lived, like in Queens, and she lived in the Bronx. She had family out there. And so she was like, do you have a store out there? She called me for different things. So I said, let me go and check her out. I wasn't looking for nothing or trying to do nothing. I had to wait, and I bored waiting. We didn't have phones back then. So I went over there. We hung. She had two other friends over. She wasn't drunk at all. She's a whole different person, but she's mad cool. I'll never forget her. I won't repeat her name, but I'll never forget that woman. Maybe she's still with us. She wasn't older than me that much, like about maybe 15 years or so. But you got people cool like that. Anyway, the next excuse, I'm not getting enough sex. So that's telling you right there what it is. He wants you to be a glorified friction provider. Now, maybe you want that too and nothing else. Okay, that's what you decide to do as adults, fine. There will still be repercussions for that, right? I'm not getting enough sex. They use it as a justification or for their behavior because they get near you and they can't help themselves because they're not getting sex at home. These are what the serial cheaters will say. Or they'll tell their woman, it was just a fling. It was just a fling. Thinking that minimizing it is going to minimize the pain of that. But let me tell you something, fellas, what really hurts a woman. Now, you don't want to purposely do that, but I'm just saying you should avoid all of this at all and deal with it and go find somebody else in time. But you can't wait. It's a conquest for you. And like we've already decided and understood, it's like a game, the thrill of the chase. You chasing 10 of them. And whichever one gives it up first, you're going to run with that. And when the other ones decide, oh, I kept them waiting enough. Listen, you kept them waiting. You think you were, I made him wait 6 months. Well, for 5 months and 29 days, he was out there getting it with somebody else. So here you go giving your stuff to probably a diseased penis because you think he passed your test, but he had all the answers, and the answers were to have a whole bunch of different women. Yeah, that should have been in the title, right? Miss D Nice, serial cheaters. Here we go, right here, Miss D Nice. Yes, some single women like messing around with wealthy married men and get turned on by the challenge of pursuing a taken man. He has far more to lose than a single woman. He will even say he's married. You're right about that. That's right. He'll say he's married to look. See, some women don't want some single guy that will get clingy to them. I've heard women say, I don't want no man that's clingy. That, which is telling me is that you don't want to get close to anybody then. Then I'm not saying something's wrong with you. You may not be in that mode of thinking or may not be ready for that. So there's somebody for everybody. Look, I know there are dudes that take their rings off. I know single dudes who put a nice ring on. I went shopping with a brother, and he was looking for jewelry. He didn't tell me what he was looking for. He was looking for a straight wedding band. I'm like, well, so you get married, man? You looking for a wedding band for you? What about the engagement ring for? Is nobody like that? No, I'm single. So why are you getting a wedding band? I kind of knew. I wasn't dumb. I wasn't just learning these things. I knew, but he explained it to me. He said, man, when you have a nice wedding band on, he's not talking about all the women now. But he's like, when you have that nice wedding band on, there's some women who envision the life that your wife lives. See, she don't exist, but you tell them how good you treat them and all this. And see, there's a lot of women out here who want something that's already in progress. When you come into the TV show back in the 70s or the 80s, before, 70s, right? And you're missing a good show. You got caught in traffic. You forgot about it. You come home. You're like, oh, man, I missed it. I wanted to watch this show all week. It's a 2-hour show, but you 30 minutes in. You start asking everybody, so what happened? So what happened? It's like, don't ask me. I'm watching the show. You didn't get here. Maybe they'll play it again. That's bad because back there we couldn't record nothing. The commercials we never watched, that was the time to get them to go to the bathroom. Hope the commercial coming, let me go pee. So they like something that's already in progress, and some of these snakes, some of these men know. Now, if you're single, you really can't be a snake, but you can still be a snake because you're not going to be honest with these women. Now, back in the day when I was super single, I'd let them know. I'm not going to say, well, I was messing around with 3 or 4 other ones. I'm like, listen, I'm single. There are women I spend time with. It can be sexual, and a lot of times it's not. But if I'm here with you, I'm focused on you, I'm going to respect you, I'm going to give you all my time, give you my energy. And if it's something that clicks off nice between the both of us, we can take it to the next level. But I'm going to be honest with you. That's like when you're getting work done in your home, you say, listen, I just want an estimate. Give me an estimate. Or are you ready to sign the contract? No, I'm not. I have to ask a few more, and you can do that to make sure you make the best choice. But the worst thing is some guy that knows he got a good woman at home, and he's still gonna lie to the other woman too. You see what I mean? Exactly, Tracy J. What happened to making love to the mind? A great healthy conversation is orgasmic in itself. Yes. I love talking and getting deep in conversation. That's orgasmic. I'm not meaning I'm ejecting sperm. I'm not sneaky like that either. You got some dudes who are like talking to a woman they just met over the phone, and he's all quiet sometimes. It looks like he's distracted. You're talking something deep, and you all right? Oh, yeah. I'm all right. Hold on, I got something in my throat. Ain't nothing in your throat. You coming. You creep. She got a nice voice. What kind of mess is this? Don't let that brother call you back no more. You know he's beating off here. I was never. Are you masturbating? No, I ain't doing that. I feel sleepy. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Well, block him. Danica Starseed Oracle, welcome on in. Yes, welcome. I'm glad you're here. I'm a little in the entertainment mode. We're talking some truth and different perspectives. And in a little while, I'm going to put the link in. If anybody wants to join on in, we're going to do it. I'm just going to go down my little jotted notes here. Okay, it's just a fling. Or I give it. Entitlement mentality. Some men believe they're in to seek fulfillment outside the relationship due to perceived shortcomings of their partner. Is it really perceived shortcomings? Or are you just saying this as an excuse to be greedy and be a dog, right? Now, I'm not saying this is law, but there might be some reasons that have some kind of legitimacy in why certain men do things. Not like, I don't condone none of it. And in my life, I ain't gonna say the timeline because I was something else when I was younger. Like I just said, I would let you know, but after a while, I would never say no. And remember, my situation for many years in my 20s was different because I was with somebody who didn't mind and who enjoyed to see me with other people. So I have to say that. So if I talk like one of them dudes, I'm not. It was just that that was the situation, right? Long story, and we could do a conference call on that, and we can get down to the nitty gritty. I ain't gonna do it and put it out there. The young lady is deceased now. She has family. Some of them listen. They know, they even know about that aspect, but they don't want to hear the dirty nitty gritty. If you want to hear the dirty nitty gritty, let me know. We'll do a conference call, and do the conference call. Just don't go there, because if nobody's there, we can't talk. But if you go to LANCESCURV.com, the first thing that comes up under the header, you'll see a big thing across the side that says conference call. Click that. You can call in, but click the option that just brings you in like a website. And make the adjustments, hide your camera if you want. You can leave the audio open. We'll make a determined time, and we'll talk about it. I'll let it all hang out. So I had a different kind of, we were together 8 years. Why would you go for something like that? Look, I was young, dumb, and full of protein drink. And I wasn't dumb, right? Oh, we're dropping some knowledge again. I know some married, Miss D Nice says, I know some married men who don't wear their wedding band when they're out here in the streets socializing, so they look single. Fortunately, I checked their ring finger to see if there's a print. Exactly. But then again, rub that finger, Miss D Nice, because these jokers will get some foundation. But there's going to be a print. There's going to be a print. It's going to be a little indent, whatever, the ring, not that it's tight, but you know, you put a little weight when you get married, the ring can slip off, whatever, a little harder, but you got to check. And some men, when they're not around their wives, they take it off. So there's not much of a print, and they'll keep it on and slide it down a little bit so it stays on the finger, but it's not making a print. They got this thing down to a science. They got it down to a science. Yeah, Miss D Nice, game recognized game. Old school, that's right. They'll even be in a singles group at church. Yes. What is that all about? Straight married. They might live in another town where people don't know, a little further away, and come to that church because they're scoping. And let's not even talk about the church now. We know there's more stuff going on in the church and anywhere else, because them sexual tensions are high, and them men ain't really all saved, and them women ain't all saved, and their minds are not turned over to the Lord. They checking out the panty lines, and you know, women get in the spirit, and this dude is always behind. Oh, there she go. There's a little seat behind us. When she get in the spirit, I can see that thing jiggling. He want to throw money more at her, like she wants it to make, like she wants to make it rain more so than putting money in the offering plate. Here's some, what they say, legitimate reasons. What they say. This is not me saying it. This is what I've heard. I said, let me compile the other side. Irreconcilable differences. Despite efforts to salvage a relationship, fundamental incompatibilities persist, leading to emotional detachment. That's not, you know, that's, look, why, when I came home, you were on your knees and my friend was sitting on the couch and his thing was checking your tonsils? He ain't no doctor. That's irreconcilable differences, because you ain't going for that. They made a song, Onyx, the rap group. The next NIGGA, the next, you know, and it was about this guy who came home and saw that very scenario. They made a song about it. It was crazy. And it wasn't really lewd. It was just so funny. Some things men have to go through. And sometimes men go through things that are so traumatic, it's hard for them to really get into trusting and opening. And they should really say this. Still, do not lead anybody on. Emotional neglect, feeling emotionally neglected or disconnected from their partner, seeking emotional intimacy elsewhere. Lots of times it is emotional, but you should still seek to correct it. And ultimately, if your woman at home refuses, then you need to make some changes. But a lot of this stuff, a lot of this cheating stuff, and we're not compatible and it's not going to work out, it should have took some damn time to get to know each other. Too many of us fantasize about the way we want that person to be because the way they come off, and we fill in the blanks and realize that we filled in the blanks too late. That's what they were, or what we put on them. What we put on them. We don't know their history. We don't know how to react to certain situations. but we just want that body, not just the body for sex, but to fill in that place that I have a man or I have a woman, and we don't take time. We don't take the time. What you rushing for? Take the time to bond with that person on different levels. I know it's hard not to, you both are attracted to each other and there's a buzz. Yeah, that's going to be there. But fight it. Get into the other things first. Build a foundation. It sounds corny. It sounds corny. I knew a couple. I'm going to say it. And they stayed together and are still together, right? My buddy told me, he said, listen, we didn't do nothing with each other. This is way out. Maybe it's not way out. But before we actually had sex, and we really wanted to, and we smooshed a little bit and got hot and horny, she sat on one couch, and I sat on another, and we masturbated with each other. Didn't touch each other. I'm like, word, you did that for you did what? Yeah, we did it for 3 years. I'm like, yo, you did 3 years? But we really got to know each other on other levels. And then after that, we would hug each other and cuddle and bask in the afterglow of our mutual orgasms. I'm like, whatever works for you. Well, maybe some more people should do that. I don't know. I don't know. Unresolved conflicts. Sometimes you have long-standing conflicts, little stupid things that you won't let go that fester up and become something bigger. And it's unnecessary, especially when the big argument happens and it comes out. Remember that time we went out to dinner and all my girlfriends were out there and you got out the car and you didn't open the car door for me. And I had to live with that for the rest of my day. They were giggling and laughing and saying you don't love me because you ain't like that's all it was. You should have told me. I would have drove up to their house, opened up the car door, let you out and let you back in, and slammed the door back and say, hey, shut up with that gossip. Lack of communication. We hear that. We know about that. And we know that it's true. Who made this song again? It was years ago. Going by my life timeline where I was, and I used to make fun with this song with these other coworkers, it was 2001 or 2000. There's a stranger in my house. Who made that song? I got to get it now. Hold on. I'm in the middle of the show, and I'm going to Google. There. Oh, okay, there it is. I have brain farts, right? I was like, there, which there that I put. Is it they with the R-E? Is it T-H-E-I? Does it? No. There's a stranger in my house. There's a stranger in my house. I know somebody already knows by the time I Googled it in the chat room. Oh, Tamia, yes, Tamia. Oh, I love her songs. Oh, and I love that song that she made, I'm So Into You. And I'm getting a text message right now that I can't answer. See, y'all got it. Y'all got it. Yes, Indigo King. Yeah, you got Tracy J. You got to help the old man out sometime. You got to help me out sometime. Sexual dissatisfaction. And it's true. We can be sexual mismatches. It is very important. You know, because we all can have a sexual history, right? It's nice if we both don't, but this is not a perfect world. So you have to discuss things, and a lot of us are too inhibited to really open up and really to sit down. I mean, like it's not like a business meeting, but face these things, you know, no matter what it is. Well, you know, hubby, you might think it's disgusting, but I just love to sniff your socks when they're out of the dirty laundry. You never know. You never know. It's not like she told me, oh, I'm into doodle or whatever, you know, because people out there like that too. I could tell you another wild story. There was this guy I know, and he worked in retail. And there was a woman that he met in retail. He was single. She wasn't. He's a black man. She was a white woman. And she had a really old husband. Like she was like maybe almost 40. And homeboy was like 85. And he was really sick, heavy medication. Once they gave him the medication, he was for 12 hours. right? Vacation at 8 and he doesn't move until she was with him for what he had. Because that house that he told me that she lived in, palatial, with the hired help and the maids and a little place in the back where the maids could, groundskeepers and stuff. All she wanted him to do after, making love, having sex, is to squat over her face. She always wanted him to take a little X-Lax before he came over. I'll say no more. There was plastic all over the floor, and the husband was upstairs sleeping, and that's what she wanted. Everything regular. And at the end, the grand finale. So when you deal with somebody, you need to sit down and find out what they like really and truly. Really and truly. Oh, this chat room is popping. Some people don't like being alone and don't love themselves, so they're emotionally dependent on others to feel good about themselves instead of doing the work to love themselves first. Exactly. Because when you have two people that love themselves and they get together, oh man, that's a beautiful thing. See, I can do stuff while I'm in the house of Mrs. SCURV, and she can do stuff in a separate, that's what you're doing right now. I know you want to be to yourself and enjoy that. Or you might want to be quiet in the garden, for a couple hours. I might want to draw something and zone out and I'll check on you. All right? All right, be good. Phone call, you got a phone call, whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. But some people are like, I just have to stare at you every minute of the day. We're talking about balance. The beauty of it is when you have two complete people who have worked on themselves, and they may not be like 100% everything complete. It's like your cell phone. It ain't going to always walk around at 100. You may start out that way. It may go down to 92. But as long as you're constantly working on yourselves to improve yourself as an individual and you love yourself, you'd be surprised how many people don't love themselves. And they can't be to themselves because, I don't know, they feel like they're falling apart. They feel incomplete. I'm a complete person. I can be single and by myself and not out there. I got a lot to do. Mrs. SCURV can be single and not out there. There's so many things she wants to do, but when you get two people together, it's synergistic. When you get that much energy together, you have to give a little space because the heat from, going up like a rocket, rocket's going up today. You don't see nobody standing next to the rocket when it goes up. You'll be burned to death. You got to go way back on the highway past them fences with binoculars. You see, so that's what you want. So you're doing yourself a favor for the next relationship that you will be in if you're not in it, to continually make yourself better. Don't leave the voids as voids and expect somebody, male or female, if you're a woman, the man, or the man or woman, to come on in and fill your voids. You can fill my voids, fill my voids. So when people come at you about, oh baby, you can ring my bell, you're thinking of sex. They're trying to lure you in to fill their voids. That's crazy. They're seeking validation because of low self-esteem, some of these guys. And they're not going to say, well, I'm going to go out there and try to get vagina because I'm seeking validation. It's just a gradual process. It doesn't happen like that. It doesn't happen and goes out and gets a prostitute, has sex and comes home to his wife. Oh, you were out late at work? Yeah, just a little extra office work. That's even worse. That's like a serial killer who go out and kill women and come home and eat dinner. And I had a wonderful day today, and they don't even think about it. I've known those working in the jails and the prisons. I've met them and known them, and talked to these people like let me really psychoanalyze this person. After about 10 minutes, you'll be running out of that cell screaming because it don't make sense, right? Why did they have to pluck out her right eyeball like you did the 5 other ones and eat it? It don't make no sense. No sense at all. Opportunity and temptation. Yes. When you are a man who knows yourself, you are not going to put yourself in a place where you're going to be tempted and you'll have the opportunity. Here you are. You might be somebody's tutor, right? You might be a college professor and you're tutoring this young lady who has a rich father who sent her up to the mountains for a weekend quiet in the cabin, fully furnished, right? Everything there. And she says, well, I have a little time. Maybe you can come up. They say it's going to be a snowstorm on Saturday night and we'll be stuck, but you can come up early Saturday. Now you got the opportunity to be locked up with this beautiful woman under the guise of tutoring her. Yeah, you're going to tutor her, right? Yeah. You're going to tutor her and she's going to toot your horn. So why would you even think about that? Right? You're right, Indigo King. Then you worried about diseases. Because you can get things even if you wear a condom. And you get spiritually transmitted diseases like I always, or sexually transmitted demons. And you put yourself in a situation. There have been a lot of people trying to put me in a situation. 2 + 2 is 4? I ain't doing it. I ain't doing it. But and yes, there are some men who have been so neglected that they're not even seeking this, but they find themselves. I'm not even saying the woman trapped them into this, but they'll find themselves in a situation and they're like, oh my God, I never had nothing like this before, and I'm getting older and it ain't never gonna happen in the home, and I'm so settled, and they let things happen. Look, man, do what you got to do to walk away from that situation, right? That's why you got to take time out of all of this, whether some feel it's legitimate excuses or it's just downright wrong. It goes for men and women. Don't put yourself in a situation. Again, lots of times, even in the righteous unions, I've met this young lady, and I call everybody young lady who's under 99 years old. Once you get in the triple digits, I'll say maybe you're mature, right? I met this young lady, man. She just, it's not the fact that she's drop dead gorgeous. It's, she ain't perfect. She a little knock knee, got a couple teeth missing. I don't know, right? But man, she got my number. Yo, this ain't the normal thing here, man. She's special. Oh, come on, man, be careful. Did she put it on you? No, we ain't do nothing yet. No, I don't think we're going to do nothing for a while. She don't give me that vibe, but I just find myself wanting to be around her. You know what I mean? And lots of times it's that feeling that will also be a portal into the whole lust thing, where it is legit, where you are out and she checked you out and all the things that you find favorable in a mate are there, but you still have to kick the tires and look up under the hood. You have to look at the history of that vehicle to see if it rolled over a couple times. You know what I mean? If the engine was swapped out, if the odometer was messed around with, says it got 46,000 miles and it's a 10-year-old car. Come on. 46,000? Come on. More like 446, depending, right? You just want to know. You just want to know. Then we have the one midlife crisis, right? Men who are reevaluating themselves and doubting themselves, and it leads to impulsive behavior, and they seek excitement. They already know what's going on at home, so they seek that excitement outside. See me? I like excitement, and I love the female energy, but it ain't gonna go past a certain point. It ain't flirting. Tracy J says, my heart and conscience won't let me cheat. I'm too loyal. Remember, if you're not loyal in your singleness, how can you be loyal in a relationship or marriage? Bingo. And I heard the other phrase, oh, God, I want to write it down and make a I'm going to start making t-shirts this week, y'all. Want some good stuff. But okay. Oh, wait, I wrote it down. Because I'm going to seriously put this on a t-shirt. Wait. I got it right here. I'm always writing stuff down. Okay, look at it right here. Listen to this. Relationships don't cure a lack of self-control. Wow. Relationships don't cure a lack of self-control. So you don't have no self-control. You think, I'm going to get in a relationship and I have somebody so I won't be wild and looking. No, it's not going to stop it. Just like Tracy J said. If you're not loyal in your singleness, how you can be loyal in a relationship or marriage? Now, going back to what I was saying. Right? let's just make like I'm not an old guy. I'm older and I'm not hung up on my age. I didn't have a midlife crisis, but I play my position. I talk a lot. Sometimes I have the gift of gab. I can be with Miss SCURV and somebody, young ladies, you know, your husband looked like he was something else when he was younger. Yeah, so and so. Yeah, that's why, you know, I wasn't born in this time because I'd be, you know, like, ha ha ha. Nothing that I really mean. But I love the exchange of the female energy in a safe way, right? You give a woman a compliment. You're not trying to get with her. You make a riddle out of it. Or you make a joke out of it. You know, like I like to make jokes. You know, I have some of my corny lines that I use over and over again. Now, everybody used to laugh at Muhammad Ali's joke and like, listen, he just changed the words around. He's been saying that joke for the last 10 years, but he's Muhammad Ali, so we got to laugh. You know? So about Joe Frazier and Ken Norton and George, we know the lines. You might have had one or two different ones and whatnot. Y'all heard my jokes. I got some new ones coming. I said, oh my God, young lady, you're so beautiful. When you pass gas, I smell perfume. You're so fine. You try it on new people, but you don't keep coming back with the same lines. You gotta make up new ones. I'm not trying to rap to you. I'm just letting you know you are beautiful and appealing. I'm not trying to hit on you. I'm just trying to make your day and make you smile and move on. Next time you see me, you'll remember me. Oh, that's that guy that told the joke. He was the one who says I fought perfume. Oh, there he is. What is he gonna tell me? Then they mad at you when you don't tell the other one something. You know what I mean? You know, I used to see old men well-dressed. There was a guy, what was he, it was back in late 70s, around 1980, 1979. And there was a guy, because, you know, we used to work at this neighborhood gym called the Powerhouse Gym right there on 131st Street and Liberty Avenue. I lived on 134th Street, so it was 3 blocks away. That was perfect for me. And there was a man, I don't care what time of the year it was, this man, you could tell he kind of shrunk. You know, when we get older, sometimes we shrink. And he was dressed to the hilt in a 1930s kind of way, but it wasn't corny. He showed you that the 1930s kind of style was straight rocking. So what did I do? I give everybody names. I said, yo, from the 1930s, man. He was a the chain in the pocket and by the vest and the cigar, but he was groomed. This brother didn't come out the house unless if there was a hair at a place. I never saw it. He must have had clippers and trim up his stuff every day. I'm not saying no homo with it, but he smelled good all the time. He had the cologne, clothes, the shoes were shining. And these were shoes from the 1930s. They ain't sell no shoes like this. And he would see the ladies and he would charm them and keep on going. He wasn't some dirty old man. He was actually very respectable. Because I remember he was on the corner over there and he didn't drink. If he drank, he brought something home, whatever. He was never a drunk. But there was a bunch of guys who were that would drink. And he talked to them sometime. And one of the guys, and you know, I wasn't working out. I used to help run the gym. So I'm by the front window, just look. It was summertime, and it was 1980. It was a summer of 1980. Beautiful summer day. And I'm sitting there just chilling. Didn't have no smartphones then, right? Nothing. So I'm kind of, you know, I was going to do a little more workout, but I said, let me sit here for a second, drink a little something, eat a little protein drink. So he was standing there, and one of the guys, and the drunks weren't always, they weren't drunk out there staggering, but they were drunks, closet drunks. But they all knew each other for a long time. So a young lady walked by. She had to be about 22. This man, the 1930s man, had to be like 80 something. But his face was lean. He was eating good, like he's still working out. So one of the guys said, come over here, girl, and let me slap that juicy ass. The 1930s man sprung into action. First, he said to the young lady, listen, let me apologize to you for this fool. Because now you're going to think I'm this way because I'm talking to him. And you stand here, young lady, please give me a moment while I straighten him out in front of you. And he ripped that man to shreds. He says, you do not ever talk to a young lady like that. You don't even have a shot to be with her. And if you did, you have to treat her in a way like a gentleman. Don't think I dress up like this just because I want to look good. I am good because I'm a man and I come from an era that you don't do women like that. Young lady, again, I apologize. Not all of us out here are like that. And she said, thank you so much. I really respect you for that. And even the man who said that, apologized. She rolled eyes and kept going. Good. You see what I mean? Now, the question I ask, what if the 1930s man who was around in 1980, which if he was in his 80s then, that was 40-something, 44 years ago. So nah, I kind of think he might not be with us. But if we can transport him into 2024 and him a smartphone, he'd probably throw it as far as he could. Because I do remember men who were like that, and they loved women. And they had sexual relationships with women. But there's a certain process, not even I'm doing this just to get to the sex. No, there's a certain process in enjoying every morsel of a woman's essence as you give her your manly essence. And it's a natural progression to that. We're not talking after one night. Although I've been through that, and I learned lessons from real men, but I was young and stupid too. But now I'm older and I can say these things now. I'm going to be one day the 1930s man. They might say, hey, look, they go to 1980s man. Even though I was born in 63, had a nice wardrobe, and I wasn't at my peak, but you know, I represent that time. So we passed the baton of wisdom on. But there's a process. You think all these babies were being made. The same freakishness you think you're doing now ain't nothing new. Don't think your grandpa or great grandfather don't know what time it is. You think doggy style was invented? Like this is something within my generation. I'm 20 years old and they came up with this and 3 years ago. But yeah, you go ahead and think that. Like I said, there's a lady living in my neighborhood, older lady. I did a show on her one time, but I won't call her name out of respect, so you don't know her dirty secrets. Those who rented from her and lived in the same house, when she passed away, she didn't have much people. So they went down, they discovered it. They called distant family that eventually came around, but the young ones that were there, the young brothers, she had some crates, she had some trunks. I'm not talking about swimming trunks. I'm talking about trunks that you open up and you store stuff. And they pulled out some black and white pictures of this lady in her freakish prior life. I mean, she was in orgies and she was messing with women and group sex. And these were some clear studio pictures. Like, it wasn't just like, oh, here's a smartphone. It was like, we're going to a studio, because these were studio grade pictures. As old as them pictures were, you think they were yellow? I mean, she had them, air pressure in the plastic and stuff, but and she was really decrepit looking. She didn't take care of herself. But when she was young, I was like, oh my God. It didn't even look like, I was like, that's her. Oh my God, look at her. Juicy. Talking about young man talk. But see, again, if you take your time, these men who, not the bad cheaters, but the one who find themselves in circumstances, they get weak. Not that they get weak, but it's going to happen. So don't get into something. Don't get into anything. I don't care how the prospects look good. I'm talking about for a relationship. Don't get into anything at all. When you're doing this long-term commitment thing, take your sweet time. Take your sweet time. Know the essence and the characteristics and the habits that you should admire. If there's an issue with it, you can talk about it then before you sign the dotted line and buy the rings. Then this cheating thing would go down, except for the men who want to go out there because it's sport and play. And the emotional connection. Sometimes people find an emotional connection with someone else, and it turns into something else. Because a lot of times we're not, how can I put it? We can learn in the school and have book sense. Ooh, it's going to rain. It's going to rain real bad. Lightning going to start dropping and knock the power out. So no, I'm going to keep on going a little bit. It's not here yet, but I see it. Remember up in the mountains, these storms come out of nowhere. I didn't realize the sky was that dark. Oh God. Wow. This is my second show in. We got to do new phrases later on. I'm going to stick another one in, maybe 2 more short ones. But to me, the solution is just take your time. And then Oh, you're right, Miss Dinas. I have to put this one up. Oh, Tracy, there's another one I got on. Oh, Dinas, there's no. Wait, I've been missing them. Okay, here it is. Let's put this one up. Let's put this one up. Nowadays, you got to vet and do background checks on these ninjas, on these Negroes, on these Negroes. You're right. And any man who will not submit to a total, look. I told Mr. SCURV and I showed Mr. SCURV. I pulled out license, I pulled out the report, I pulled out this, I put passport, this, that, whatever. You don't do that with everybody. But when you see something that you know is worth it, you will do anything to get approved for that loan, to get the ownership, because it ain't no loan. The person ain't going to be yours. When you see, and ladies, don't make no man make you feel like you digging too much. Hey girl, you asking a lot of questions. Why you like that? This is 2024. Come on now. Prior to a certain time, maybe, depends if you lived in Atlanta or not. You know where I'm going with this, right? There used to be a time where women, the biggest thing they say, well, listen, they weren't even going to say, are you married? They'll just ask, do you have someone? Right? You want to be slick about it. Do you have any children? They don't even ask, how many children do you have? It's for him to say, I don't have any, because now you're lying if you got like 18 kids somewhere. So you can't have them by yourself. Well, where is the mother? Then you're telling yourself, well, there's 3 baby mamas. 3? Okay. So now you're actively in dealing with them, possibly, because some guys don't. And you know, sometimes them baby mamas or even the baby daddies, I hate to use that term, but I'm just saying it that way. They feel they have a right to go in over and visit and see their child and let's put our son to sleep and start talking sentimental because he wants to go back up in where the baby came from. Like he got lifetime rights. You deal in a relationship, he want to come around, act like he the man, but he can't do that because you have a man now. But now, what is the question? Or the same questions. Do you have anyone? Do you have any children? Are you married? Come on, ladies. You know what the next one is. I'm going to put it in the chat room. I'm going to put it in the chat room. Or you put it in the chat room and let's see if it matches up. Let me put it right in here. Let me see. Wait. I'm not even on the page, the comment page. What am I doing? Let me put it here. Do you blankety blank? Here's the question that women have to ask, not even in 2024, but even from a couple years ago, decade, 2 decades, even 3. There it is. I'm gonna put it on the screen. Dun, dun, dun. Do you mess with men? Or have you messed with men? Ain't that a damn shame that you gotta be a heterosexual woman and ask that? And ask that? Let me tell you something. Through my exploits with my old girlfriend, who she liked when I messed with women because she liked women. Now, I was wild back then. I'm not gonna say she tricked me, but my affection for her grew over time because she was a phenomenal person. And then she dropped that on me. But I was still young, dumb, and full of protein drinks. And through those experiences, I'll tell you, there are a whole lot of women out here that are married and down low. I will say there are just as much down low women out here as there are down low men. But because we see our sisters sometimes, they greet each other, oh, how you doing? Mwah, mwah. That's innocent. That's cool. May not be nothing going on. But there's a lot of times there ain't nobody around. Oh, how you doing? Mwah, mwah, mwah. A lot of that going on. I know this for a fact. We got to do a show, a conversation that I might put up publicly, either on Patreon or the conference line, which is free. And we'll get down in it. we'll get down, because you know it's a new channel. And my old stuff is in the process of being restored, so we'll leave it there, right? Here we go. Tracy J says, if he's ever messed with a man, that's a no-go for me. I won't be able to unhear that. Exactly. Now you're seeing things in your mind. Then you see these guys in the street like, oh, was it him? Or was he messing with somebody with him? Or whatever. Miss D Nice says, Renaissance man-cultured man of the Renaissance who is knowledgeable, educated, or proficient in a wide range of fields, sometimes lowercase, a present-day man who has acquired profound self-knowledge. Boom! But how many? How many are that way? We have many who pretend to do that. Giant Gain says, welcome on in, Michael George. You got to listen to this whole show. Asking for the original birth. For real. For real. You don't know what they were. They might be testosterone up and be a woman. That thing that they do down there to the woman, you know it ain't real. You know what I mean? Even you hanging out with your girlfriends might be a dude. Why would you ask me something like that? I don't sound like a man. I'm only 6'4" with wide shoulders and a big Adam's apple and size 15 pumps. Yeah, that's more of a problem for men too. Yeah. There are some out here who are really coming to the close up to the line of fooling people. I've never got fooled. I see them and I know them. It's like they're wearing a mask and it's some different, it's a spiritual thing you can tell. Not even so much the physical, some with the physical thing. But I'm telling you, there was one who used to walk by. We used to be out there bodyguarding Harvey Levin on the People's Court, the street scene. Like they had the court scene, they had the street scene, and Harvey comes out, oh, let's find out what's going on, whatever. I used to do that for a couple of years. Got to know them real good. And there was one that walked by every day, like on a break, around noontime, like lunchtime, 11:30, 12 o'clock. And the guys who were there before me, even some of the staff, you know, the camera person and the one who regulates the colors, there's a whole lot of people around that you don't see. They tapped each other. Yo, here she comes. Here she comes. What y'all talking about? That one there is a man. I'm like, get out of here. That's no, I didn't say it loud and ignorant, but that was the best job that I've seen in daylight. But there was something about that thing that I did still pick up, because they were probably, as a man, had a natural propensity to have a female form, maybe narrower shoulders, and dudes sometimes have like hips. Like they're a man, but they're like wider in the hip area. And little things about them. I was like, yo, that's scary. It was scary. Because imagine that same person in a club at night in the dark, the shadows and neon lights and flashing lights. You already look that way broad daylight with the sun over you. And technology and science and hormones and things and AI and, you know, no way. Uncty. or uncle. Uncle. Uncty. Unticle. Y'all so crazy. Unbelievable. But yeah, pretty much. Yeah, the last one I want to say is about dysfunctional relationship dynamics, toxic or abusive relationship dynamics that undermine trust and emotional security, driving some men to seek solace elsewhere. Also, too, for the men who, this thing where they go with another woman that the world would just on the surface level say they're cheating, but they're on fire, they're hurting. I'm still not saying anything to justify them. But sometimes, and this goes for the women too who have bad relationships at home with the man. It doesn't have to be they're just beating you. But sometimes you just want the company of somebody who's loving and caring and respectful of you. That's all. You might hug, you might lay in the bed next to each other. You might have true intimacy without having sex. That's what I'm talking about. True intimacy without even having to have sex. Not that you're going to say, well, we're not going to do it. Don't touch me. No. You might get erect and you're next to her. She's warm and feeling good. You may not, it doesn't mean, it takes a strong man to have that restraint and understand what it is. Human beings, see, these serial cheaters, toss them away. They ain't no good. It's a thrill for them. It's a sport for them. They lying. They're saying it's one thing. They're saying they ain't married, whatever. But for all of it, I say, what is the cure? The cure is before the fact. Before you have to go outside of your relationship, make sure you have a real relationship that you're getting into where your needs are going to be fulfilled. Not on a selfish level. Because if you know what those things are, that means that you took time to stay to yourself, to know yourself. Again, there are too many people out here who are full of voids that they don't know they have, that they haven't self-reflected and meditated on what is needed for themselves. Now they get into a relationship figuring that person is going to be a mind reader. In this case, it's that cheating man with that woman who is projecting to him that she is all he wants. And sometimes she's using you, cheater. She's sucking down your life forces. And I don't mean the good way, the feel good way. And that's why a lot of these men end up dead. And I don't mean stabbed up and shot up. I'm talking about walking around and you see them. And you knew they were like this from their 20s. Then you see them in their 40s and look like 80. This thing ages you. This spiritual gain, it's not a gain. I say gain because I see giant gain and my brain got screwed up. You all know how I do. I'll see a word or see a person, spiritual gain. I meant to say this spiritual game has heavy consequences. You know how many soul ties I had to bushwhack off of me? Take a righteous machete and cut because of the conundrums that I was involved in before I was with my freaky girlfriend and during the time with them 8 years. That's a whole different thing. And I'm not going to say, oh, I was innocent. I had developed some twisted fetishes that you can do with 2 or 3 women at the same time. I had to detox off of that. After we broke up, I didn't want to do any, I didn't have no taste for normal sex. I wanted to be cool for a while. Get these things out of my head. My brain was fried. I've known the nether pleasures of what most men think they would fantasize about. I lived it for many years. And that's not cool. It takes a lot of meditation and being to yourself and detoxing from all of this stuff. And thank the Creator, I did. Where I can sit down and talk on a show and chill out and draw a picture, write an article, take a walk and enjoy that just as much as what I thought I was enjoying before. We broke up because I basically said, I can't do this no more. They were dudes, what are you, crazy? She's allowing you to do this and she right there with you doing it. You're doing this and doing that. Man, you crazy. Man, you don't want that. Trust me. How am I going to look at this woman in a wifely way? Like I thought I could in the beginning before. I was guilty for, falling into it. Yeah, we could try this out. We can try that out. We can try. And you doing all kind of stuff. Oh, twist that one around and sit that one on my face and do this with that and lick that. And then, what? I told y'all some stories before. I'm not going to say it here. But there was a time when there were 3 women around in my company and we were doing certain calisthenics, but I felt something on me that wasn't there. And I thought it was one of them who went back there and did some things, or down there and did some things, not back there. Right? What y'all doing? What was y'all doing? Some of them did that too. It freaked me out. Spiritual things were happening. And with these serial cheaters, and you're the good woman at home, don't think there's not detox that you have to do. I want to say that. Because they're bringing these spirits home to your bed. Whether you're having sex with him or not. Well, I'm not going to have sex with him. I know he out there doing this thing. You hugged up with this man, or he's hugging you up. You can't stop. What, you laying on one bed, you fall off, and he's on the other side? He don't mind hugging you. His nutsack is drained, so he going to hug you up like y'all did it. And you're not you laying in the same bed. Great grandma, you young. And for those who have ties to the South, something about that South. Them women didn't play from back in the day. And you always wondered. Here you are, 8, 9 years old, and you, mommy, how come auntie and uncle, they have separate bedrooms? Oh, girl, when you get a little older, I'll tell you. You thinking, well, maybe one of them had some kind of sickness or something, whatever. In a way, they did. But that grandmother, that great-grandmother was not going to allow that cheating man to come lay up in the bed with her. I'd rather lay in the bed by myself. And them women, they didn't go out and do nothing because the man did it to get him back. No. Because see, she had to let him know that what you got here is more precious than some little fling that you can get out there. Here's a woman who can hold down a home. Here's a woman who can hold down a home and bring in an income even when your old behind is sick. Take care of you and the grandchildren and keep it moving. So you got to be on punishment indefinitely. It's about those older Southern women. We had some good older Northern women too. I understand that. Tracy J says many men who had to play a lifestyle their whole lives end up lonely in a rest home with children that hate them and trying to flirt with the nurse who's assigned to their floor for real. And you know what the thing, Tracy J? They think they still got it. Raggedy broke down. And they still think they're going out swinging. They don't realize how sad this situation is. The only time that their penis stood straight out in front of them is when they were in the push-up position because they were rolling over in the bed because they had to take a shot. Whatever. Ain't nothing happening that way. Ain't nothing happening no kind of way. This is why I say, appreciate a woman for who she is in the proximity she has around you. Treat her with respect. Treat her with kindness. Give her a compliment and keep it rolling. She'll understand that in another place, different place and time, that you could have been a good man to her, and she'll appreciate your old ass. But don't get to a certain age and come on. I got people I know, they're going to be mad when I say it. I ain't going to say the name. They're going to know I'm talking about them. I don't care. I know them long enough. They ain't going nowhere. I can't stand my wife. I got to leave. I got to leave. Man, you collecting Social Security. You got grandchildren, about to get great-grandchildren. Where are you going to go? I want to find an Arab woman because they're so loyal and they satisfy you sexually. Man, you and I know what you told me, man. Your dick ain't got hard in 6 years. What do you mean satisfy you sexually? Where you going with that noodle? Come on, man. You got that little Ronzoni hanging down between your legs. I don't care how good your lick game is. You old, man. But if you do the right thing, you're never old. See, the 1930s man was never old. He was there. Ronzoni, Danica. That man who was well dressed, the women, young and old, they wasn't giving him no, of the good stuff, heaven's gates. But in their mind, they did, not out of lust, but out of respect, because they saw that this was a real man. And he knew that there were sparks going on. Not that, oh, I want to go to bed with him. But yes, we understand there are people who got to this earth way before we did. But I can see, even though he's older and wrinkled and got gray, look how he takes care of himself. If I had a man, I'm not saying this, don't cut the part and say, if I had a man, and say it's me saying it. I'm talking about a woman saying this. Y'all heard this, right? So they come, people do some funny things, cut up my videos and try to copy and cut and paste and all that. Don't do that. If I had a man like him, that's a little younger my age, I would give him the world and he'd get it all. He'd get whatever he wanted, plus a few things he never knew that he wanted. And again, it doesn't just come down to sex. Isn't that something how when you're younger, you have a strong sex drive, you can have it until your older age. But the job really is to procreate. But how are we going to procreate? Like, let's procreate and just have a little friction this way and it don't feel good. We talk about the Creator, we talk about the Most High, we talk about Allah, we talk about God, I say God right now. It's the easiest way to say 3 letters, God. Again, it's not the European way. The sum total of all the forces of the universe by that creative energy that's made us and made creation. Our minds can't conceptualize that. If we could, our heads would explode. Boom! But isn't it something? Not to get lewd, but you have the foreplay going on. Hopefully, right? Some dudes don't know nothing about that. But the very mechanics of it, like a piston. And when you push in, it feels so good. But if you want that feeling again, you better pull out and push in again. So if you want to, and now you're in and out, in and out. I'm not saying it's just that. It's how, as a man, the female is made. I was speaking to a Christian brother the other night. He has done everything right by his wife. Everything. That's one man I can vouch for. And he was saying the same thing. The vagina, the backside, the breast, the stomach, the hips, all of that is something in us. It's so beautiful. But what's more beautiful is that this woman has the characteristics inside of her, and she's ride or die with you. Ride or die with you. But you gotta earn that. I'm not saying you gotta spend money like, I'm gonna earn it by taking you to the club every week, I'm gonna buy you. You can't buy a real woman like that. You understand? But you gotta earn it by proving who you are and who you've cultivated yourself to be. The serial cheaters get over because they can put on a superficial look and come off a certain way. And you're like, wait a second. How did he fool me? How did he get to me? How did he trick me? And you thinking that he loves you. Or even if you understand. You have women out here, well, we have an understanding. You know, you mess with a married man. Yes, we have an understanding. Okay, he's paying your bills and whatever. You think it's an understanding. I'll say it this way, and I'll say it. And I know the people that are involved, they're in such a different world. They're probably still alive, but they, you know, I had a tenant. I can say more that, no, I'm not gonna say no more, but I have a tenant. I was cool with the woman who lived there. Actually, he was messing with her. He was married, but I had an apartment available and separate from all whatever, you know, I gave her the apartment, right? So everything was cool. He even, I'm not gonna say he respected me. I knew he was messing with her, but he'd park his vehicle way down so I can't see it. I'm like, man, as much as I drive all day, I saw you, and then he saw parking around the corner. I know you down there. But they had an understanding. She'd come out on the front talking on the phone. Sometimes I'd hear him. He's my boy. He's a grown man, but that's just Queen's talk from back in the day. But as soon as she got pregnant, man, they should have put him on a side of a milk box. Couldn't find him. Couldn't find him. He even disappeared from me. Like whatever y'all got going, I left voicemails. Didn't see him no more. Been Googling him ever since Google came to me. This is long before Google came around. But I liked the guy, cool guy. We were cool friends. We were acquaintances off a job, and we became friends. And I guess he was embarrassed. I don't know. But you think sometimes that feelings come and shift those dynamics around. Let's not even get into the fact, you know, you can be cheating with each other. It could be one man cheating and you're single, or you're married and he's single and you cheat. What happens when you catch feelings? Something happens, something clicks. It's not always about sex. It might be after sex. It's just that connection snaps, like when you get that furniture from Office Depot or Walmart or Target, and half the time, like I said before, you look at, I don't need them damn instructions. After a while, you realize you need them. But when it comes time to putting in one leg, you already know the other leg's the same way. And you put it in, think, it snaps. Snaps in. You still got to put the screws in, but it snaps in place. And you know it's done. Well, guess what? You laying there, everybody feeling all spent, parts throbbing, music playing. the post-orgasmic state of mind. And you just feeling good. Now she laying there with her arm around you, kind of on, baby. You too heavy for you? No, baby, it's all right. You have become one for a little while. Her armpits were stinking, but it smelled good now because you done came so good. Sorry for the graphic language. Nothing wrong with it, you know? She got morning breath in the afternoon, but you still gonna tongue her down because she just something about the feeling. And then you realize you look at each other in a different way. Uh-oh. I tried to hold back. We got our lust off. Oh my God. I'm looking at you different, sweetheart. You know, what's up? I don't know, baby, what's up? Well, you know, I've been giving it to you and everything, but what you mean, what's up? I kind of, you feeling the same way I do? And this is when the real drama and problems begin that you see on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. And when your girlfriend or your guy friend calls you to tell you what happened down the block. This is when you start to take real risks. I don't want to talk about that, but we're going to talk about that not on the next one, but it's coming up. What do you do when you're doing something you shouldn't be doing and you catch feelings? The fun and games are over because now you're thinking about, how am I going to get away from my wife? And how am I going to get away from my husband? We got to have this guy, and all that you fantasizing about of how it's going to be because of what you don't get at home. And you think this temporary fix is doing it for you. Guess what? When y'all get together, y'all don't really last. Y'all don't really last. There might be somebody who beats the odds. Far and few between. You ain't really going to last. I know a dude who married, I don't call women this, we'll just say, just so I can say it without being graphic. She was basically a pass around. Professional, knowledgeable, good car, had her own place, obviously a catch, but a pass around. Meaning that within a circle of friends and maybe beyond, was like she dated one and dated, no. They there hanging out, drinking by the place, and she down on one. The other one behind her. She just a pass around. They showed her respect, but they didn't really respect her. She liked it. You know, she grew up sheltered. I understand what it was. But one of the dudes in there, he's deceased now. I used to work with him. He went up and married her. Now, you know, no man wants to know that. There are a lot of pass-arounds that don't say anything and they come from a different state and they act holy and stay holy and do everything right, and you'll never know. Okay. You can change or evolve. I'm not going to just write you off like that. But, and that's what he really loved her for, right? He married her. They argued. They brought up stuff. He was mad at the things that he saw her do, but he was with it. He was with it. Now, he wouldn't mess with no men. None of the men mess with each other. But he'd call up his friends, and she was down. She's there. I saw it with my own eyes. How did I know? Was I there partaking? No, I went to that gathering the time I told you about when they called me over to watch the fight party or watch the fight at the little party, and I had to go to work. And I walked into a whole living room, bedroom, second bedroom, everybody naked, walking around. Hey, man, some of my coworkers. Oh, man. Oh, Lance is cool. He ain't going to say nothing. No, I'm not going to say nothing, but God, dog. Come on in, man. Come on in, man. And the dude that got married to the pass around, because some of them, I wouldn't say they were actual pass arounds. They were just like into one of the guys there and did light stuff. But he was inviting me to enjoy her tonsils. Let's say it that way. Man, you don't know. She real good, man. You gonna call out of work if you let her hit you off, you ain't going to work nowhere. Like, man, I'm out of here, man. He went and married her. And what do you think the very things he threw up in her face? But how could you throw it up in her face when you know what she was like? So I'm not gonna knock these women who like what they like. Men like what they like. And there are women who like what they like. They may not be who you want to settle down with, and whatever they might be out there. We all have reasons. I'm not making excuses, but stop calling these women things when you're the very thing that you calling them. Man, she a whore. Well, what the hell are you? What the hell are you? Bagged down 5 women in the last week. got frequent flyer miles at the clinic. And you won't call her a slut and a whore. Huh? What makes you any better? I'm not brown-nosing women. I'm not brown-nosing anybody. Let's just be for real. I got some very good female friends who other men would call pass-arounds, and I love them very much and never put my hand on them. And they had the most sincere heart. I'm not going to call her name, and you all know from the show that I did last year. She passed away last year. We lost contact for a few months, and I was heartbroken. When we met, we were like rabbits for 2 months. And after that, over the years, she never stopped being a rabbit with all the other people that she knew. But we forged a different kind of friendship. When she wanted to cry, when she wanted to, and I wasn't some, I'll lean on you can lean on my shoulder because I really want to hang around and get the panani. I got the panani already. And if I wanted it, I could have got more again. But it wasn't about that. I saw how, and may I say it, she had been to bed with thousands of men in the decades that because it's easier for a woman to bag a man. But I understand why she was that way. I understand the pain that she had to go through as a young girl and the esteem issues. I understand that. But I'm going to tell you one thing. You wouldn't find a more pure soul that was loving. She'd been through a lot, and that was a way of self-medicating. She was one of the sweetest women that I know. But she couldn't help herself. And we talked about that. And when I first met her and we both were acting like rabbits, I saw that in her, and I didn't want to be one of them dudes. And when I broke it down to her, I didn't tell about herself. The reason why, no, I didn't do that. I did it in a caring way. I said, there's more to you than just that. I said, I have a love for you as a human being. And she, to this day, well, not to this day, right? But I found that she passed away and we lost contact for a while. Social media, losing Facebook pages and, coming to a different country and then losing numbers and changing phones. And, and that really hurt me. And that's why I did a show and half of it was about her. I had to even put a picture on the thumbnail. Those old videos will be back soon. So stop labeling people, especially women. And men, straighten up. Life is short if you're doing the wrong things. It can be long and enjoyable if you do the right thing. And if you have voids that need to be filled, take care of them. Take care of them. You see what I mean? Yes, I'm going to show some of these comments. Sister Gifty, you are here. I'm glad you are, and I hope you had a great slumber and rest. Tracy J says, Giant, when you live that life and don't change, the wall comes very quickly. Yep. Comes quicker than a 2-minute brother. Sure does. Danica, yes. Yes, I guess you're agreeing with what I said about my friend. Yes. Let me see here. Giant Gain says, and now he's going bald. She looked old in the face with dark circles around the eyes because that lustful thing became a stressful, stressfulest. Stressful lust for both of them. Yeah. Before I go, let me, like I always say I'll do on this live, let me drop this link. Drop it like it's hard. Drop it like it's hard. If anybody wants to come in for a few minutes and add on to the program, you can. It's not necessary or mandatory. Leave some comments. Leave some comments here. Leave some comments on the blog. They stay forever. Sometimes YouTube takes away comments and plays around and unsubscribes people. But we won't go there. This is a new channel and everything. And, we're looking up. Like I said on the show that I did before, off the cuff, we are the light. We light. We have the legal right to chase darkness. And we don't have to make an aggressive act from us. All we got to do is be who we are, and we run darkness away. Darkness will show its fangs, will show its wings, it will growl. Arr! Darkness ain't got no power. So take time and cultivate the light that's inside of you. That's right. You're right, Giant Gain. Straighten up and fly right. If you're here on this earth, on this plane, You just don't know. I saw a little video where it said death comes sudden. Dude was standing up next to a car, you know, smoking a little cigarette, had a little something to drink, not alcohol, he's just drinking some cup of juice or something. A truck lost control and smashed them all up. He didn't even see it coming. He didn't see it coming. I'm not saying to walk around. We're all going to transition some kind of way. But guess what? The most painful part of transition is when you go through those, I'll say to be funny, pearly gates, or you may not make it there, right? Symbolically. But when you realize that you were not ready and you didn't prepare yourself. You didn't prepare yourself. You're going to take the test and you didn't bring your number 2 pencils. Now you feel dumb. Excuse me, can I borrow a pen? But you didn't take care of, nobody else can do. And you have all this time to straighten up and meditate, clean yourself out. Even if you don't meet that one because you goofed off so much time and you met that one 3 or 4 times that could have been the one, but you were too dumb to see it because you were a serial cheater. How about that? And ladies lose out too because they go in their little phase. There was a young lady that I follow on TikTok. She's always saying funny stuff. She said, I'm in my whole phase. I said, oh my God, it's getting crazy here. She said, don't think you're in the gutter. Get your mind out the gutter. Whole for me means happiness over everything. I was like, oh, that's a t-shirt. Wrote that down too. Tracy J said, please, someone go up and come on the show. I can't because I'm on a plantation. Yeah. Look at you, Daniga. I'm a comedian today. I got you laughing. Yeah, I'm going to drop the link one more time. If not, we're coming on back later on with Neil Frazier. And I will come on today. I told you. I'm going to gain momentum and traction and do more of these and keep swinging. See, one chop didn't chop down the tree. You got to keep on chopping. And let me tell you something. The tree doesn't say, guaranteed if you chop me 528 times, I will fall. Some trees take thousands of chops to fall. Some take 17, some take 120. We don't know. Whatever it is that you're doing, you keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. The change will come. But you have something to do to make that happen. Don't worry about it. What do they say? The journey of 1,000 miles starts with 1 step. You go, how many steps is it? I got to know. I'm not going on it. No. You're already in the journey. You're already in the journey. Like when that van took me 15 miles down the dark road in the mountains past because where I live past me, there ain't no houses. I'm way up in the mountains of the clouds. Ain't no street lights. It was nothing but clouds and darkness and trees and wild. And I had 2 heavy grocery bags, reinforced. The reinforced kind where you can really carry them heavy. I had to walk 15 miles in the dark. Trees look like things standing over me. What the heck is this? Animals. You step, it was so dark, I didn't know I was step. The road was paved, but it might be 3 feet down on each side. So it was like I was roller skating. I was just ice skating, just didn't pick my feet up. When it's dark like that, animals don't know what road or what's not. I said, I hope I don't run into nothing with teeth. Ain't no lion and tigers out here, but I hope. And that's all I heard. Loud things rustling in the bushes. All I knew is that no matter how long it took, that I had to put 1 foot in front of the other and keep moving. It seemed like it would never come. When I looked up and saw that sign that is in front of my area, I knew I could turn left and I was soon going to be home. And when I got through the front door, I just laid down on the floor. You see, my cell phone had 1 bar of power on it out of 5. And I had no cell signal up here where I was. So I couldn't even call Mrs. SCURV and see what happened. Luckily, she fell asleep when I called to say I was coming in because I went to do some grocery shopping late. I was already in Accra. I said, I'm going to be a little late. I'll be okay. You know I'm going to handle myself. But after a while, if I didn't call, she'd be ringing me. but even the power went out on the phone. So in this life, don't rush. Move sure-footedly. Take your time to get to know somebody. So you don't have to, in your mind, cheat if you feel it's justified, or be a serial cheater. And when I say when you say it's justified, because you're not being fed at home, and we're not just talking sex. And don't let the shallow flirtations that you may come across in the outside world make you think that there's some depth to that thing. You're just emotionally masturbating yourselves with each other. It feels good for a while, but after it's gone, it's business as usual. Oh, yes, Giant Game, let me know. Let me know. Lance at LANCESCURV.com or 407-590-0755. The number's been going down in the bottom. Oh, yeah. Give me a topic. That's like when somebody throws up the clay and the person has the rifle and ping. No one throws it up, ping. I ain't gonna miss. I'm gonna tell you, I don't know everything, but I will paint a picture from the palette of life with the different colors that I've had to deal with, and paint a picture honestly. I'll tell it to you honestly. Maybe I've said some things in the show that maybe you don't understand because it's a sensitive topic. I am not condoning cheating. All I'm saying, there are real circumstances that make people do this, and some people are just full of crap, and it's just a sport for them, and they're they're not inconsistent. They're inconsiderate. They're very consistent in their cheating, but they're narcissistic, self-centered, and they don't care about the good woman that they have at home. Good woman at home, make sure you're not anchoring and undergirding a cheating man, because he's groomed you for that, because he sees that you have the characteristics to be that. See? So that's a beautiful thing when you have a relationship where you can be open with each other. I'm very honest, and I said it. I saw a lady in the street with a beautiful ass. Oh my God, look at, it's beautiful. There's a little lust in there, but it was more her physique. I said, oh, no, I'm not gonna go down that slippery slope. I don't go out there looking like that. I'm just saying, yo. But you got to keep on trucking. Yes, you do. But we got to talk, Giant Gang. Just like all of us do. Let me know on the channel here. The way to contact me is public. My number's everywhere. I wonder how many countries my number is in. That's a weird thought, right? I want to call LANCESCURV 407. Anyway, I got to set up Neil Frazier's show. That's going to be, what time now? That's going to be 7 for me and 3 o'clock Eastern, is it? Y'all know the time, Monday night. You know, the time changing to me and over here in this, I don't have to deal with daylight savings time. So that messes me up when I have to deal with that, when it goes back to 4 hours from the East Coast. But anyway, throat's getting dry. Let me skedaddle over here and do what I got to do. Yeah, I made some banners over here. The hair is on the other side of that girl, but don't it look like she got a beard? That's crazy. But it's out here, y'all. Be careful. Take your time to get to meet the person that you're attracted to, and make sure they're not an empty vessel and nothing but a facade, because there's too much of that going on out here. Anyway, much love to you all. I will see you hours with Neil's show. Maybe I'll pop in before. It's 4:14 my time. I got till 7 my time for Neil's show to come on. Maybe I'll do something after. We're going to rock it out. We're going to steamroll. Like this truck coming down the road, they got the SCURV logo on it. We're going to steamroll. And you know the brakes don't stop it right away. So if you're getting in the way of the righteous mission, trust me, we're going to run over you, because we're always going to be about truth and honesty and transparency. If you don't have those things, you're just as bad as the people you're talking bad about. Anyway, I'll see you in a little while. My hunger is coming up. I got to challenge on some food, and this rain's coming, so I got to do some things outside first too. Much love to you all. See you in a little while. Peace.
So this matter, actually today I got to meet my friend Lance. Yes, I got to meet my friend Lance. This is my first time meeting him in person, and he's a very kind man, seriously. I do talk with him on phone, on WhatsApp, but I've never got to meet him. But today, it's just extraordinary. He's very, anything you want to know about life, anything you want to know about just human, anything you want to know about life, please. YouTube, Telegram, Instagram, Twitter, all the social media channels, you got to find him there. He's very inspiring. He's very positive. If you want anything positive about life, please subscribe to LANCESCURV. And then every day you got to see different videos, different talks, different topics about life. See you.
Make sure to go to LANCESCURV.com, an online magazine established in 2001. Containing written articles, thousands of talk shows and discussions, cutting-edge cartoons, as well as erotic expressions and tasteful adult photography. It's definitely not for the faint of heart. Once you get a taste of the world of LANCESCURV, trust me, you'll be back for more. LANCESCURV.com. Bold, raw, and uncut.